Welcome to my advanced class for Skullcrackers, and right away you'll notice they are different from Iron Demons now! Yay! Please like, subscribe, and donate through my Ko-fi page. I'm not monetized, and it's only your support that stands any chance of helping me keep going. Thank you! The Skullcracker has had its recruit time reduced to 2 turns from 3, which was nutty for a tier 2 unit anyway. And it's had its melee weapon damage increased. This is just the start of making this unit not merely viable, but actually strong and worth abusing. This is good, because there have been nerfs to other parts of the roster, in particular Bull Centaur renders. But that is another video. I'll cover the Iron Demon separately, but the Skullcracker's case is very interesting, and here's why. The Skullcracker was already decent against infantry. It was decent, and with its more power ability active, it could keep running infantry down without bogging down for a fair bit of time. Otherwise, it needed a head of steam, and it helped if infantry were running at it in the open field. It wasn't separate from the Iron Demon in any way, and that was a big knock. I mean, aside from not having a gun. The Skullcracker now has 120 armor, which is an increase of 20. It is unbreakable, same as usual, same 60 speed, melee attack is 55, melee defense 30, weapon strength 400 with a split of 120 base damage and 280 armor piercing, with a plus 20 bonus versus infantry. Let me repeat slowly. The Skullcracker without any Lord, XP, rank chevron, or tech has 55 melee attack. A gargantuan leap from the Chaos Dwarf launch model, plus the weapon damage is literally double what it used to be. My Skullcracker and Iron Demon videos made no bones about these units helping clink down a Lord, but the low weapon damage made them pretty awkward about it. Still, armor piercing is armor piercing, but how? Short of a Lord, short of a hero, where would you get 55 melee attack in the roster? Well, from the Could Die Destroyer, that's where. Actually, its base is 52. Where else? Oh, the Bale Taurus, that's a 56. So you have to go to a tier 4 monster, the elite of flying units, to get what the Skullcracker offers you out of the gate as a tier 2 war machine. This is a revolution. I've played lots of Zatan the Black because it was kind of a unique thing for this roster, and I really do like him, but it didn't feel like you could get the most out of his style, not just using artillery, but war machines in your face. Now the Skullcracker is worthy of getting in your face and sawing it in half. And this is not a small thing. The Skullcracker suddenly becomes the roster's number 2 solution to Footlords and Heroes, right after Blunderbuss lines, which are an all-or-nothing deal. This is in a roster sorely lacking in ways to attack Footlords effectively. From here on, the Skullcracker is the tip of the melee spear as I always envisioned it. Like I said, Bull Centaur renders got a bit of the nerf bat, but having a Skullcracker lead the way is just brutal in the best way. One more thing of real note. Before, the Skullcracker was the kind of unit that was over-specialized versus mass melee was just incompetent against cavalry. But now, 55 melee attack out of the box, double the weapon damage, armor piercing. Cavalry really has something to fear from the Skullcracker now. No, the Skullcracker can't just run them over like heavily armored infantry, but it'll hurt them, and that's what matters. Running one in combination with other friendly forces will pin the cavalry down just as much, or at least stop their advance, and stopped cavalrymen are ripe for destruction. And one more thing, the charge bonus is now 75. That's really beefy, that's really good. Lord, red line, with 3 points will add 6 melee attack to your Skullcracker among others, plus 12% weapon strength in addition to that. And the higher the base number, the more percentage increases matching. Wretched War Host, which applies to renders too, will add another 12% weapon strength, plus 12 charge bonus, and 10% physical resistance at rank 7 and above. A pity, but the tech trees don't offer that much more, with Weapons of War giving a 10% speed bonus and the Infernal Engineer passive, which helps the Skullcracker trigger that for another war machine, but obviously, reload speed won't help the Skullcracker itself. If you're going to sell it to Skullcracker awesomeness, and you could, then the Hellforge becomes critical. What then? What do you want/need? The Bound Barrier Demon gives you 1,000 barrier hit points, which isn't likely to regenerate if you stay in the fight, but it will help you have less chips on the armor heading into that fight. It's one of the more expensive options because it's never ever bad. You can't do battle without taking damage. Forge Fire gives them passive minus 15 armor to everything in a 35 meter radius, so basically inside a melee. Does this help the Skullcracker itself? Some, but this is meant for a mixed unit mosh pit. Regular axe-wielding Chaos Dwarf infantry and all Hobgoblin units do a lot less damage to armor. I'd pick this if you make an entire build around it using Armor Sundering on your Chaos Dwarf melee units. Blazing Body is a match made in the Battles of Mount Doom, which is to say really, really amazing for the Skullcracker, which has no choice but to be neck-deep in melee. Just like with the Taurus and Kadai units, the longer you're in melee, the more you will be physically resisting damage and the harder you will reflect melee damage, which for a single entity unit means it's less effective against Lord hits but uber effective against massed infantry. With this active, even if you're losing a fight, you're gaining ground. Immunity to contact effects. Well, it's kind of funny. How do you poison the Skullcracker? But anyway, this makes you not only immune to poison, but to other contact effects like Suppressed, Armor Sundering, Burn, Weeping Blade. It's a stupidly long list, actually. You'll become immune to all of it. This is mandatory if you have to fight, say, Clannish. Finally, the Hellbound passive gives the Skullcracker magical attacks, so you, yourself, are no longer bothered by physical resistance. You have perfect vigor, because that bound demon gets tired after being in so much melee. And so long as the effect is active, which means having hit points higher than 25%, the unit gets 20% physical resistance. So wait, what is that again? Hellbound, 20% physical resistance, Stretching Warhost, 10% physical resistance, effect, something like that, and body up to 10%. You can get up to 40% physical resistance on an armed demon and immunity to contact effects. That's why I'm doing this advanced class version. You deserve to know how good it can get. With the Total War tech that capstones the military tree, you could have all 5 of these effects at the same time. Maybe you won't. In fact, you artillery lovers will violently reject that notion. And I respect you. But you could. Anyway, this is an issue of possibilities, identifying them and perhaps embracing them. Like I said, even right out of the box, the Skullcracker has been immensely improved. It's a toy. Find a way to make it your own. Take care and have fun.